Hi, everybody. How are you? This is Miss Mel. I'm doing kind of a surprise live. I brought some very special guests with me tonight.
Hi.
Hi,
So introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Tucker.
I'm Maggie,
And how old are you, Tucker?
I'm 15.
And how old are you, Maggie?
12.
12. So what grade are you going into?
I'm going into my sophomore year of high school.
Awesome. And what are you going into?
7th grade.
And actually, you're wearing your spirit gear.
I am.
Yes. Let's see.
Can't see it really.
Right. So the reason I brought you guys in here is because I wanted to share. We're reading this story tonight for everyone about starting school. And so I really wanted to, with this new change in school and pace and everything that's going on, I really thought it would be cool if you shared some ideas, or not ideas, but stories from your past.
Okay.
In your schooling.
All right.
So I'm going to ask you a question kind of off. And first thing that pops into your mind, okay? First person that pops into your mind. So think way back, okay? So I'll start. I'm going to ask, this is my question. Who is the first teacher you can think of that you have the best memory of school? Okay, so I'll start. My first memory is Miss Doucette. I went to a Catholic school my whole life, and she was the only laywoman teacher that wasn't a sister or a nun at that time in first grade. And I got her, and she was like 26 and young and fun, and she used to give out prizes every week if you did a great job. And she was so loving and caring. And every day my mom would send me in 2 pigtails, and every day I would take them out and I would put them back in a different way, and I would come home and my mom would be like, ugh. And every day Mr. Set told me my hair looked lovely when I left. All right, so I hate to put you on the spot, but your first youngest memory of school, Tucker.
Miss Kepsel.
Miss Kepsel. Who
She
doesn't
is
love
so
a
nice.
Miss Kepsel? Who doesn't love a Miss Kepsel? So what was it about Miss Kepsel beside her being nice? What's like your favorite memory of
My
her?
favorite memory was probably when I had studied so hard for a spelling test, and then the only word I got wrong was friend. And I was so upset. And I went to her, and I was so upset, and I was like, can I please retake it? Can I please retake it? And she let me retake it, and I got 100 on it.
Because you proved to her that you knew the words.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. So she gave you that chance.
She
She
did.
believed in you.
Yeah.
And she believed in you the whole year. She really did. She's amazing. Maggie, who's your first real memory?
Miss Delashmet.
Oh, Miss Delashmet.
I had
Yes.
Miss Delashmet for 2 years straight.
You did.
She moved up for me. But it wasn't in the years that I had her. It was the first year that I didn't have her. I got into 3rd grade, and it was my first year at that school where I did not have anyone that I knew that I didn't have Miss Delashmet.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer, and I didn't know anyone in my class besides the knuckleheads. But I went to her classroom instead of mine because I couldn't really find it easily because I'd never been in that hallway before.
Okay.
And so she just kept me there for the whole morning. I was crying, and she just cuddled me for a while.
Oh.
She made me feel better.
Oh, that's nice.
So her classroom always made you feel safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so before this, I had asked you guys about teachers, and you had mentioned these teachers. I said to make sure that you got your memory. But you also had a memory when we come in here. You both had talked about someone that was extremely special to our whole family. Who was it?
Miss
Miss
Llewellyn.
Llewellyn.
And why was that teacher so special to you?
She was just very caring
Yes,
for everyone.
they both had Miss Llewellyn.
Yeah.
3 years apart, right? So you
Yep.
had her, and then you had her for 5th grade, and then you had her for 5th grade, and you guys were telling me some memories of her. What did she do for you, Mags?
So I was not a big reader. I didn't like reading big books. Reading wasn't my thing, and then
You weren't confident.
No, I wasn't confident that I could actually read well. And so she worked on that with me and then introduced me to my favorite author. Her name's Mary Downing Hahn. She realized that I was kind of one of those kids who didn't like that fantasy aspect of everything, where it's like, oh, it's so happy. So she introduced me to a children's horror author, which was now my favorite person to read ever.
Right. And it's more supernatural, but the important thing is she learned about you.
Yeah.
And found your
She
likes.
adapted to me.
Yes. Tuck, what about you? What was it about? I know she was so good to you, but what did she make you feel in that school?
Well, in 5th grade, I didn't really know what I was doing. I had still been new to the school because we had moved in the year before. So I didn't have many friends, and so she was just very comforting.
Yeah.
The whole school
And
year.
kind. And
Yeah.
kind. How do you feel like this year went for you? That, the past year, even with the craziness, you guys all had like 7, 8 teachers, right?
Yeah.
You guys all had really teachers that stepped up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did what they were supposed to do to make you feel welcome and finish out the year, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine how hard? So going into the school year, how are you feeling? Honestly, how are you feeling?
A little nervous.
A little nervous. Do you feel like the teachers are going to make it okay for you, though?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, this year's going to be easy compared to last year.
Because last year, Maggie was in 6th. So that was her first year of middle school. So she walked into all honors. And
Except for math.
well, doesn't matter. And so, all our math teachers, I'm sorry. And so, sorry, Aunt Sue. And so, but you started really believing in yourself. You had some pretty incredible teachers, as did you.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you most looking forward to this year?
I really want to see how band works out. I want to see what's happening there.
Okay, cool. Because you play the
Tuba. I
Tuba.
play the tuba, yeah.
Yep. What are you looking forward to, Max?
I'm looking forward to last year. When they just threw COVID in to the mix of sixth grade.
No one threw COVID
They
in.
threw COVID into the mix of 6th grade.
Okay.
And it wasn't
Okay, but
great.
what are you looking forward to?
The fact that they figured it out. Like this year, they've had more time to figure it out than just, launching themselves into it and being like, this is what we're doing.
Right, because they did the best they could. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which wasn't bad. It was just not ideal.
Right.
Yeah.
For anyone.
Yeah,
For
For
anyone.
anyone. Right. So, what class are you most looking forward to this year, you think, of all of them? In 7th grade.
Probably science or English.
Okay. Awesome. Because last year, who was your most favorite science teacher in all the world? Let's just get
Mr.
that.
Cacavo.
Yeah, there we go. So, all right. Well, so thank you, everyone. We really appreciate it. Can you say thank you in German?
No.
You're going into German 3. What is thank you?
Danke.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
I just have to
Frau,
relearn it.
Frau, we need you. Okay. All right. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
All right. So, poor kid, I put him on the spot. Okay. So, what we're going to read tonight, guys, is a story that we put together about the first day of school, and it's really from a teacher's perspective. So I really think it's important that I wanted to bring together us coming together because I'm starting school this week with my teachers, and honestly, I cannot wait to see them. I'm more excited to see the kids on September 8th. And so I just really wanted to make the point of we're all going into this very strange time, but teachers are excited, and I'm constantly seeing them trying to learn new things and do new things online. And I just wanted to share with you that I've had many students over the years that have changed my life and made me who I am. I've had many parents that of students that have changed my life and made me who I am as well. I just read an email to Mr. Chris, he's not available tonight. He's editing his book that's going to be published. And so I just read an email from a parent that was just so kind and sincere to kind of give us a cheer to start the year. So I just want to say thank you to all the parents. I want to say thank you to all the kids. And I want to say thank you to all of my colleagues and administrators and all of you out there doing this wonderful thing of kind of recreating that wheel, right? So I'm going to start reading. And this story is pretty interesting because we did not have a title for it when we first started. It's called It's All About Imagination. And then we put it out there for the world to name for us after we had written it and produced it. And we had a contest, and actually a colleague's daughter named it for us. And it's called A Place for Everyone. And I think that's an important title to have. So no matter where you are, you're with your educator, you're with your class, you're with your teammates, and there's a place for everyone. And I think that is so important to remember during these times. Okay, so A Place for Everyone by Chris and Melissa Bugay. Mrs. Brighton hit the snooze button so fast she was not sure if the alarm was a dream or really going off. She sat up, rubbed her eyes, and said to herself, "Goodbye, summer. Hello, back to school." Mrs. Brighton swung her legs over the bed and remembered that today was the first day of teacher training. Although it was her first official day of work, the students wouldn't be coming in for another 2 days. She carefully picked out her outfit for the day, mindful that she would be working to put her classroom together after the morning training. As she slipped her khakis on, she thought about where the desks would go, how many students would be in each group, what color her bulletin boards should be, and, most importantly, what the theme of her classroom would be. All summer long, Mrs. Brighton thought about what theme would be the upcoming school year, but nothing quite seemed quite right. After spending a week at the beach over the summer, Mrs. Brighton was sure her theme would be all about the ocean. But then, after a trip to an amusement park, she thought about making it a carnival-themed classroom. Then, a few weeks later, after a camping trip with her parents, she thought about how wild a wilderness theme would be for a classroom. Every summer experience sparked a new theme, and picking one was becoming increasingly more difficult. It's all about using your imagination, she thought to herself as she was in the kitchen. She opened up the refrigerator door and pulled out some orange juice. After pouring herself a glass, she stepped out onto her desk, listening intently to the birds singing, the leaves rustling in the slight breeze, and the frogs croaking from the nearby pond. Maybe frogs should be my theme, she wondered. Her imagination began to swirl as images popped into her mind at lightning speed. She saw a banner for the entrance of her door that read, "Jumping into second grade," with all the students' names on little frogs around the banner. She saw lily pads lining her bulletin board, each displaying a letter of the alphabet, and each group of students named after something frog-related, like the croakers, the bullfrogs, or the fly-eaters. Ew. Mrs. Brighton sipped her orange juice, wondering if naming a group of students after a colony of frogs was a good idea, when the rustling of leaves caught her attention. Maybe falling into the school year with leaves all around, she thought. Again, her head became flooded with images, including a large wall-sized tree that the students could help her change and decorate for each of the season. Oh, that's good too. There are just so many ideas. Ugh, how will I know which one I should use, she thought. Something will dawn on me, she said aloud as she watched the rays of sunshine peek over the horizon. It's going to have to because I am running out of time. I need to make a decision by the end of the morning. Remembering that she needed to get to her teacher training, Mrs. Brighton looked down at her watch, finished the rest of her OJ in one gulp, and went inside. Mrs. Brighton grabbed her lunch, which she had thoughtfully packed the night before in a new bright purple lunchbox, snatched up her iPod so she had something to listen to in the car, and scratched her black cat Houston on the head, saying, "Wish me luck," as she headed out the door. The trail mix bar, the sticky, gooey kind, were her favorite, tasted delicious as Mrs. Brighton drove into school listening to a clever story about a cunning little fox named Shako that she had downloaded on her iPod. When Shako met a pheasant in the story, Mrs. Brighton's mind instantly filled with images of birds, feather, and flight. What about the theme soaring to great heights? She thought as she conjured images of feathers decorating the ceiling with every student's name on them, classroom rules about working together like migratory birds, and each desk that students had nests of supplies. That could work, she thought to herself as she pulled into the school parking lot, realizing that she had to re-listen to the story because she was so distracted. But let's see if I can come up with something else. And with that, Miss Brighton locked her car and entered the school. "What's your theme going to be this year?" asked Miss Fanny. "Mine is going to be lighting the way with words. Cool, right? It's a whole literacy-based theme I thought of." "Well, actually, I didn't think of it. I saw it on this one website, but I thought of turning that slogan into the classroom theme. I'm going to have light bulbs all over my room. My word wall is going to be light bulbs. I know it might not be the greenest idea, but still, I think it would really help to improve vocabulary, don't you?" "Oh, looks like we're going to get started. I want to hear about your theme, though. Maybe later, okay?" "Yeah, maybe later," Miss Brighton agreed skeptically as she swiveled around to face forward, ready to listen and learn about whatever the topic was for her that morning in training. Her principal, Mr. Dudley, approached the teachers with a huge smile. "Good morning and welcome back, everyone. I need all eyes on me while I explain what is on the agenda for the morning." Mrs. Brighton thought about her own classroom and how she would also be greeting her students soon. She noticed as the principal talked that his tie was a swirling mixture of red, white, and blue, reminding her of the American flag. Patriotic pupils might work, she thought as her head swooned with images of a system where students earned stars for achieving goals and where students could trade in 50 stars for a prize. She pictured the students marching around the room during certain activities to patriotic hymns like Yankee Doodle and America the Beautiful. Mrs. Brighton became so entranced in her vision that she actually began to hum "It's a Grand Old Flag" out loud for everyone to hear. "Sorry, Mr. Dudley," apologized Miss Brighton, embarrassed to let her imagination run away with her like that. "I'll pay attention." She snapped her eyes off his tie and on to the long agenda laid out for her. This is what my students must feel like with all this information being thrown at them this first day, she thought. She would be sure to keep it simple, with lots of discussion on the first day. For the rest of the training, Mrs. Brighton focused all her attention on listening to Mr. Dudley, having either a race car theme with a slogan like "Get your motor running," or a rock climbing theme with little caricatures of her students as mountain climbers traveling up the side of a cliff. When the training came to an end, three of other teachers in her school came to Miss Brighton and asked if she was feeling okay. "You seem like you were spacing out there a little bit," said the first teacher. "Yeah, it was like you were on another planet," said the second teacher. I know, replied Mrs. Brighton. "I cannot stop thinking about my class, students, and the theme for my classroom and what it will be." "Don't worry." I want it to be one of those things that means something to the kids. Something really, really cool, Something that screams imagination. "Don't worry, Miss Brighton," said the third teacher. "I'm sure you'll think of something that will be out of this world. You always do." As the three teachers walked away, images of outer space launched into Miss Brighton's head. She saw each teacher's face inside an astronaut suit floating around on a wall in her room. She pictured a bulletin board with a picture of every planet labeled with corresponding subject on it. When it was time for math, students could blast off to Planet Math, surrounded by its two moons, addition and subtraction. "A space theme," Miss Brighton said aloud. "That might work," she thought, but so would any of the other themes. Which one would the students find the most imaginative? And then all of a sudden, as she asked herself the question, it came to her. With a not-so-tiny squeal of delight, Miss Brighton was off to set up her room. 2 days later, the buses pulled up to the front of the schools, dropping off the students filled with nervous excitement about the start of a new school year. As the second graders in Miss Brighton's class made their way down the hallway to their room, they were greeted at the door with a huge smile. "Welcome to Imagination Station," she said, "where creativity is yours to explore." As the students filed in the room, they saw that their desks were decorated to look like race cars. Large green lily pads were stuck to the floor, making a pathway leading to each activity area within the room. On the ceiling, they found cutouts of planets orbiting a yellow sun, each labeled with different subjects of study. On one wall, they found a huge planet orbiting a yellow sun, each labeled with different subjects of the way that they were going to learn. On one wall, they found a paper mountain with a tree growing from the summit. The tree was covered in leaves, each with the name of students on it. Below that was an ocean theme filled with all different creatures labeled "Swimming Towards Our Goals." Each student would place their goals for the month on the sea creature. Near the top of every wall were stencils of birds, making a border around the room. The windows were painted to look like the American flag, and as the sun beamed through it, it caused the colors to shift and shine. Once each of the students took their seats, some of their mouths were agape. Mrs. Brighton stepped in front of the class and said, "Welcome again to Imagination Station. This is your home for creativity. Throughout this school year, we're going to learn and grow together. As the ideas pour out of your imagination this year, we're going to keep track of them right here in this very room. Whatever you can think of, we'll create it and post it up somewhere in the room for everyone to see. This room will be a living expression of what we have created together. Now, class, close your eyes and let's begin." We hope you enjoyed the story. Mr. Chris and my family and my kids and me, we want to wish you a wonderful start to the school year. Whether you're an educator, cafeteria worker, whether you're one of our amazing custodians, we want to say, secretaries, we couldn't do it without you, our admin, we want to say thank you. And we from our family to yours, and we hope that you guys have an amazing school year. Bring out those imaginations. Students, like my kids, they're a little nervous going in, but I know once they get in there and they see their educators, they're going to know that they're safe, they're welcome, and they're about to embark on a journey with them that's going to make a difference. We hope you have a great school year. We'll talk to you soon.